What if I told you? Some of the most profitable animals you can raise aren't cows, chickens, or goats. In fact, the animals that make the most money per square meter are the ones almost nobody is talking about. Most homesteaders think about chickens first, then maybe goats, maybe a few ducks. And there is nothing wrong with that. But if you are working with limited land and you want your animals to actually contribute to your homestead, not just consume feed and look pleasant, there are 7 animals most people never seriously consider. Some of them fit in a spare room. Some of them cost almost nothing to feed. And at least 2 of them quietly do some of the most useful work on a small homestead, with very little physical effort from you. Now stay with me through this entire video, because the one that surprises you most is probably not the first one on the list. Welcome back to Small Purpose Farming. This channel exists for one reason: to give you practical, honest knowledge for running a small homestead with real intention. Today, we are covering 7 livestock options that consistently get overlooked, even by experienced homesteaders. Each one has been evaluated against 4 simple criteria: how much space it actually needs, what it costs to feed, what it realistically contributes to your homestead, and whether it is manageable for someone who is not doing this full-time. Let us get into it. Before we go further, if you are new here and this kind of grounded, practical content is what you have been looking for, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Number 1. Meat rabbits. Specifically the New Zealand white or the Californian breed, the 2 most recommended by university extension programs for small-scale meat production. You may have heard of meat rabbits before, but most people have never seriously looked at what they actually offer. According to Penn State Extension, a single doe, that is a female rabbit, can produce between 40 and 50 kits per year under a standard breeding rotation. They reach market weight in approximately 8 to 10 weeks. What makes rabbits exceptional for a small homestead is their feed conversion. Roughly 3 pounds of feed to produce 1 pound of live weight. That is one of the most efficient ratios in small livestock production. A beginner setup of 1 buck and 2 does requires roughly 30 to 40 square feet of hutch space. That fits on a back porch, inside a small shed, or along the side of a garage. They are quiet, manageable by one person, and produce no noise complaints from neighbors. Here is a bonus. Most people do not factor in. Rabbit manure is what is called a cold fertilizer, meaning it can go directly onto your garden beds without composting first. Dedicated gardeners and market growers will pay for bags of it. You are turning a byproduct into a resource, which is exactly the kind of integration a small homestead needs. Number 2. Vermiculture, specifically red wiggler worms. I know what you are thinking. Worms? Absolutely. On a small homestead, waste is a resource. Red wigglers eat kitchen scraps, garden trimmings, and livestock manure, and convert them into worm castings, one of the most nutrient-dense organic soil amendments available. Market gardeners and organic farmers refer to it as black gold. The best part? Red wigglers double their population approximately every 90 days. You can start with a single small bin in your garage or under a workbench, and within a year have a productive rack system generating meaningful quantities of premium fertilizer. You can sell the castings to gardeners, and you can sell surplus liveworms to fishermen or to other homesteaders starting their own compost systems. This is one of the lowest barrier, lowest physical demand options on this entire list. Number 3. Honeybees. Bees are unique on this list for one reason. They do not compete for your land. They forage up to 3 miles in every direction, working the surrounding landscape and bringing resources back to your hives. In many cases, you are not feeding them at all. The environment does that. The initial setup investment is higher than most options on this list, but ongoing maintenance is low once you are established. And the outputs are genuinely diverse. You have raw honey, which commands a premium, especially when sold locally. You have beeswax, which you can sell raw or use in high-margin products like candles, lip balms, and salves. And once you are established, you can sell nucleus colonies, called nukes, to new beekeepers. A 5-frame nuke of established bees is a valuable commodity to anyone just getting started. Beekeeping rewards patience and consistent attention, but it does not require large land or heavy daily labor. For a small intentional homestead, it fits well. If you are finding this useful, hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this content reach other small homesteaders who are working through these same decisions. Now, number 4 is one most people only associate with one holiday a year. That framing is costing small homesteaders a real opportunity. Number 4, heritage turkeys. Most people think of turkeys as a Thanksgiving product and nothing more. But the case for raising them on a small homestead goes well beyond a single season. The most productive breeds for small farms are the Bourbon Red, the Narragansett, and the Standard Bronze, all recognized by the American Poultry Association and documented by the Livestock Conservancy for their superior foraging ability, natural temperament, and exceptional flavor compared to commercial varieties. Then heritage turkeys are strong foragers, which meaningfully reduces your feed inputs compared to confined production. Ohio State University Extension recommends a minimum of 100 square feet of range space per bird, manageable on a small property with rotation planning. A few production notes worth knowing. Heritage turkeys are more disease-resistant than commercial varieties, but they are susceptible to blackhead disease if raised in direct contact with chickens. That is a critical management point to plan around from the beginning. Beyond meat, heritage turkey eggs sell at specialty markets, and poults, baby turkeys, from recognized heritage breeds have consistent demand from other small farms. The seasonal nature of turkey production is sometimes used as an argument against them. But on a small homestead where land and labor have limits, doing one thing well in a defined season is often more sustainable than trying to produce everything year-round. Number 5. Mealworms. This is something most homesteaders have never seriously considered as a production animal. Mealworms, Tenebrio molitor, are the larval stage of the darkling beetle. They are one of the most widely purchased feeder insects in the United States, used in backyard poultry feeding, reptile keeping, wild bird feeding, and increasingly in human food production. According to the University of Florida EFAS Extension, mealworm farming requires no land. A productive operation can run entirely from stacked shallow bins in a temperature-controlled spare room, garage, or insulated shed, maintained between 77 degrees Fahrenheit and 86 degrees Fahrenheit for optimal growth. And feed inputs are extremely low. Mealworms are fed wheat bran, a low-cost agricultural byproduct, supplemented with vegetable scraps for moisture. Why does this matter specifically for a small homestead? If you already keep chickens, quail, or ducks, mealworms are one of the highest protein supplemental feeds available. Raising your own removes that input cost entirely. While producing a surplus you can sell locally to other chicken keepers, bait shops, or pet stores. The barrier to entry is low. A starter colony costs very little, and a full production cycle from egg to harvestable larva takes 10 to 12 weeks. This is not romantic homesteading, but it is genuinely practical, especially if you are already keeping poultry and paying for feed. Number 6 is gaining serious traction in sustainable agriculture research right now. And if you keep any poultry at all, it may be the single most practical addition you make to your homestead this year. Number 6. Black soldier fly larvae. The black soldier fly, Hermetia illucens, is not a pest. The adults do not bite, do not infest homes, and are not attracted to human food. They are a managed decomposer insect, and their larvae are one of the most protein-dense feed ingredients in small-scale agriculture. Research supported by North Carolina State University Extension documents that black soldier fly larvae contain approximately 40% crude protein and 30% fat on a dry matter basis, comparable to fish meal, which is one of the most expensive conventional feed supplements available. Here is the Homestead application. The larvae consume organic waste, food scraps, vegetable trimmings, spent grain, and convert it into high-protein feed for your chickens, ducks, quail, or pigs. You are turning what would otherwise be wasted into a feed input. NC State Extension has also documented BSFL as an effective manure management tool for small poultry operations, significantly reducing odor and fly pressure when properly managed. The larvae are largely self-harvesting. As they mature, they instinctively migrate out of the bin and can be directed into a collection container with a simple ramp. No sorting by hand. One important note: BSFL production is seasonal in most U.S. climates without supplemental heating. In USDA hardiness zones 7 through 10, outdoor production runs roughly March through November. In cooler zones, or an insulated or heated space, extends the season meaningfully. This is an animal that feeds your other animals, manages your waste, and asks very little from you in return. That kind of integration is exactly what small purposeful farming is about. Number 7. Snails, specifically heliciculture. I know, stay with me. Farming snails may sound unusual, but it is a highly specialized micro-niche with real demand. You can raise tens of thousands of snails in a small greenhouse, or a purpose-built outdoor pen, a footprint comparable to a single parking space. Snails are virtually silent. They produce no odor when managed correctly. Their feed costs are extremely low. They eat leaves, fruits, and vegetable scraps. And their space requirements are minimal compared to almost any other livestock option. The learning curve is real. Getting the humidity levels and diet right takes attention and patience. But once you have the system dialed in, snails are one of the most low-maintenance options on this list. Snails sell in local markets as a protein source and culinary ingredient. In some markets, they are considered a premium product, which means you are not competing against commodity pricing the way you would in chicken or egg production. If you are methodical, patient, and interested in something genuinely outside the mainstream, this one deserves a serious look. Let us bring it together. 7 animals, 7 different entry points into a more intentional, self-sufficient homestead. Meat rabbits for efficient small-space protein production. Red wiggler worms for turning waste into premium soil amendments. Honeybees for diverse, low-land use outputs. Our heritage turkeys for a manageable, high-quality seasonal production. Mealworms for feed cost reduction. Black soldier fly larvae for waste-to-feed conversion and feed independence. Snails for a low-space, low-cost, specialized production system. None of these require large land. None of them require full-time effort. All of them are being used by real small producers right now. You do not have to do all 7. You probably should not try to. Pick the one that fits your land, your energy, and your situation. And do that one well. That is the approach that actually works. If this video gave you something real to think about, share it with someone else who is working through these same decisions. It is the most direct way to help this content reach the people it is meant for. Subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in the next one.